Time for a Buckeye Breakdown with Tim May. You hear him on 97.1 The Fan and his podcast, Fan Stream Sports, the Tim May Show.
Yeah.
All right, let me ask you. The Buckeyes take care of business 34-6, Tim. They go into a hostile place, 17th ranked Illinois, and in my opinion, this game was never in doubt yesterday. The Buckeyes kind of handled their business. Some are saying, boy, they got off to a slow start. I thought they got off to a fast start, but once again had trouble executing in the red zone.
Yeah, I guess driving to a field goal is a slow start, and then driving to a touchdown after that's a slow start, and getting a couple of turnovers. I mean, I don't know how you judge a slow start, but when you're up 20-0 on the road in a place where historically sometimes you've had a lot of trouble. Of course, it was beautiful weather, et cetera. I thought they handled things, but I'm telling you, the crux of this game was in the start of the third quarter when Illinois scored a touchdown. First touchdown Ohio State's given up in Big Ten play this year. And Ohio State counterpunched with its own long drive to a touchdown. That's when you knew Ohio State meant business.
All right, let's talk a little bit about the defense. I know Ryan Day put a big emphasis on getting
defense?
More, yeah,
I'm messing with you.
Well, no, he put it on getting takeaways.
Yes.
He told me the other day, we're going to put a big emphasis on knocking the ball loose, interceptions.
That's what was missing from this defense.
Well, guess what? They had 3 in this ball game, and it's one thing to get them. It's another thing to capitalize. 21 points off 3 turnovers. That was the difference in this game.
Yeah, and not only that, these were forced turnovers. Jermaine Matthews knocking that little slant ball up in the air and Peyton Pierce intercepting it. Jermaine Matthews causing that fumble on a blitz. Caden McDonald literally ripping the ball out of a running back's hands. Those were all 3 forced turnovers, and that's what you're looking for a defense to make that next step.
All right, let's talk about this defense. And I know every time I bring it up to Ryan and I tell him where they're number 1 in this and number 1, he doesn't want to hear it.
Right.
He said, tell me that at the end of the year. But we can talk about it. Tim, if you look at the great defense Ohio State had a year ago, and they were great. I mean, they won a national title.
Yeah, they ended up number 1 in the country in total defense.
Yeah. But as I look at this defense, to me, this defense at this point seems better.
Yeah, and I think where Ryan was upset, maybe if that's the right term, or disappointed is more the right term, was Saturday they didn't finish the deal in the fourth quarter, where they just didn't get off of them, and they got that late touchdown. But you're exactly right. This is a defense that can beat you all kinds of different ways. It can stone your run game. It can get after your passing game. And now they can have takeaways, and takeaways are huge.
Yeah, if you can get the ball, one thing, get them off the field at third down. But if you can take the ball away, I mean, that is a dynamic that is going to be huge going forward to the second half of the season.
It's kind of like saying the sun is hot. You know what I mean? It's an obvious thing. If you thwart that other team and make them be second-guessing themselves. And the funny thing was, Dom, the last several weeks, it's like the opposing coach has talked about the mistakes they made, like Ohio State had nothing to do with it, and Brett Bielema was kind of like that after the game on Saturday, and it's more of, he got beat by a better team, for the most part, a more talented team. Their linebacker, man, that guy was pretty good. But the bottom line is they got beat by a better team. They came in feeling their oats, but vulnerable on defense, and then offensively, they haven't been able to really run the ball with any impunity, and Ohio State shut them down when it mattered most.
All right, let's flip to the other side. How much of the offense does Julian Sayin have right now? And do you think a day is coming where they're going to totally turn him loose?
I don't know what you call turning loose, but you always come up with a game plan that fits who you're playing. I think they're letting him throw the ball down the field. Illinois did some things on Saturday that kept them from necessarily taking full advantage of that. But I think he's running the offense now, and I like the way he's directing things. Just from I've always been a connoisseur of good quarterbacking, but the way he's kind of like in control, always aware of what's going on around him and stuff, it's pretty impressive.
Well, and I like the way he's throwing the ball. We like his poise. The guys I'm talking to now say he's become a vocal leader. There's no doubt who the leader of the offense is.
Yeah, and how about the stake? The final stake was you got Jeremiah Smith one-on-one from the 2-yard line, poof, touchdown.
Well, the other thing that I like, obviously he's playing catch with the best receivers in the country.
Yeah.
But that O-line, Tim, let's knock on wood, they stay healthy. Those guys, but there is, and I said this to Ryan Day the other day, and he agreed, there is a nastiness to those guys, and I like that. Those guys they're playing nasty.
I brought that up with a line a couple of years ago and stuff. That's what you always look for. Are they not satisfied with just blocking, or do they want to punish? And this is an offensive line that across the board wants to punish. I mean, Philip Daniels is playing like with a chip on his shoulder or something at right tackle and stuff. But obviously, the left side of that line, Austin Sareveld and Luke Montgomery are just on another level in that regard. Did they block everybody on Saturday? No. There are things to work on in that regard, but they want to excel. That's the big thing.
The other thing, the running back position, it looks like it is a 1-2 punch now with Bo Jackson and C.J. Donaldson. That's what it's looking like to me.
Yeah, James Peoples played a lot on Saturday.
I understand that, but those two guys were the most productive.
Yeah, absolutely. But, you saw Bo Jackson go limping out of the game. He had to get his ankle retaped again. And for a freshman, man, this is a grind. I mean, 6 games in to his first college football season, and you still got 10, in their mind, they've still got 10 games to go. So they've got to take care of him, take care of all of them. But it's important to have all 3 of them having some feeling of confidence.
Next week, the Buckeyes, and you'll be able to watch the game right here on 10 TV, 3:30 kick as Ohio State heads to Madison to take on Luke Fickell. You and I both are big fans of Luke. We know him.
Yeah.
We covered him, and we've known him a long time.
Had a tough year so far.
It's been tough, but you and I know that is not an easy place to go. And it would make Luke's, it would be huge for Luke to get a win.
I think the goal of any team is to get in there and make it so one-sided as a visitor that there's nobody left to jump around when the jump around comes about between the third and fourth quarters. But you're right. And by the way, just once again, what really separates Ohio State from the AYOs are Carnell Tate and Jeremiah Smith. When you need a play, those guys have been coming through for you. And once again, you saw the same thing on Saturday, Illinois. You will probably see the same thing this week at Wisconsin. But, that landing that Jeremiah Smith had on his face mask with the rest of his body above him, that was a toughie. The fact he came back into that game and played stout just shows you how tough he is.
He is a tough guy. Any concerns going into Madison?
No, just like you said, handling the atmosphere. Don't let what you've heard about the atmosphere overwhelm you going into it. I mean, Julian Sayin has, Saturday at Illinois, they had a hell of a crowd there. They were looking forward to that. At Washington a couple of weeks ago, that was a hell of a crowd. Now about 10 or 15,000 were Ohio State fans. We'll see what it'll be like in Madison on Saturday afternoon because Wisconsin's having such a tough year so far. I would think there's going to be a lot of scarlet in there along with the Wisconsin red.
As I look at the landscape of college football right now, as we look, to me, Ohio State looks like the one team that is the best. And I've watched a lot, but I will tell you this much.
All right.
Watching Indiana go into Oregon, watching Indiana, what they did to Illinois, I think Indiana's for real.
There should not be a poll taken in college football until November 1. Because so much has flipped based on what the polls were going into it. The Fighting Cignettis are for real. I was saying that, remember, back in the summer and stuff, because they got an upgrade at quarterback. They got an upgrade at several other spots. And they can play with anybody in the country. And, you could argue they have a bigger win now on their resume than Ohio State does. I mean, I know Ohio State beat Texas when Texas was number 1, but Texas was sort of exposed after that. They went into Autzen Stadium and beat a good Oregon team, beat them up, really.
The other thing, Penn State, my goodness, they've now lost 3 in a row, Tim.
Yeah.
They lose at home to Northwestern.
And lost their quarterback, Drew Aller. So, it's going to be interesting. November 1 is going to be an interesting game in Ohio Stadium, that's for sure.
I just don't know. But that's college football.
It is college football.
You think about
UCLA killed Michigan State. That's 2.
Go figure
that's 2
that.
pelts on UCLA's belt now.
It's just
after they were giving up for nothing.
Well, that's why I said, as you look, have you seen anyone better than Ohio State?
No,
right
I've not
now?
seen anyone better than Ohio State. I've not seen anyone deeper than Ohio State. But I'm telling you, Indiana is pretty damn good.
Oh, I agree. It's going to be November 1. It's going to be very interesting.
Yes.
Because what do they say? November's when the championships.
The games they remember are the ones in November.
Yeah, but now we're going to go to December and January.
And just think, if they get to the Big Ten championship game, that'll be a home game for them in Lucas Oil.
Well, and it could happen.
Yes, it could happen.
It looks like that could be the collision.
I think a lot of people thought that Indiana would have 2 losses by now at Penn State and at Oregon. That did not happen.
Penn State at one time was ranked number 2 in the country.
Yes.
Oh, my goodness. And they've lost 3 in a row.
Yes.
Who would have thunk? He is Tim May. Check him out. You hear him all the time, 97.1 The Fan. Keep it on 10 TV, 10 TV Plus, and 97.1 The Fan for all your Buckeye coverage needs.